One of the questions that I've been asked over the past 10 years many times is, what would I have to do to become a chaplain, or what would I need to do to get where you're at to do what you're doing, because it just looks like an awesome job, and it is an awesome job. There's several different answers to this question that I want to go over, but for me, it's probably not as hard as you think, and I say that lightly, because for me to be where I'm at, complete divine intervention. And I'm not going to tell the long story about how I became a chaplain, but there's a lot of places that require you to have clinical pastoral education units. That means you have to work in an environment and log your hours and document everything to get those to be able to work at a place, and you have to keep those up. A lot of places that you work will require you to have a master's degree in divinity or some type of biblical doctrine degree or bachelor's degree. It just depends on what you're doing. But what I would require, if you want to become a chaplain and you want to start doing something right now, is I would encourage you to go to the activities director at several nursing homes and talk to her and say, hey, I want to have a church service here. Can I have a church service here? What's your schedule look like? And you might say, well, Chaplain Reese, I don't play a musical instrument. You need a musical instrument. You don't necessarily need a musical instrument. It would help, but if you go to a church, more than likely there's someone there that can play a guitar or a piano, and you can ask them to meet you at the nursing home, and they can do the music, or you can have someone from your church that sings come and do the music. And you can bring a gospel message to the people, and then afterwards you pray with people and shake hands with people and pray with people, and that would be the start of a chaplain ministry, okay? Because even though I get paid for it, I would do this for free. In fact, if I ever get to the point to where I'm making enough money at something else, then I would do this for free. So start right there. And to be honest with you, I said I'm not going to go into a lot of it, but my entire life or my entire time as a Christian, I've always been involved in nursing home ministries. And when I went to the interview to become a chaplain, I told them that, and I think a light bulb went off, and they thought to themselves, wow, this guy has been doing for free what we are going to pay him for. So that puts you in as a pretty good candidate. Hey, one thing that I forgot to mention in the video when I was editing, I gotta have this quick story. An old man came, and he had been a pastor for many years. He had actually been a chaplain before, but when we were asking him the questions, we've got these tablets right here. It's just a tablet. Let me turn it on real quick here. We've got these tablets, and you do have to have the ability to work your way around a tablet. And learning that is somewhat complex, because you have to do your visits, you have to document your visits, you have to do your mileage, you have to do your timesheet. There's a lot of stuff on that, so it can be learned. It took me a long time learning. When I started, we were using laptops, and some people may still use laptops, but you do have to have the old man that came, I was like, do you know how to use something like this? And he is like, I think he still had a flip phone, and he was like, my wife has one of those, but I don't use it. And as much as I would have liked to have hired the guy, I didn't, because I knew that it would take weeks and weeks and weeks to train him on that, and I didn't have time. I was busy as it was, and then he may not even get it. So that's something that I hate to mention, but it's important. Now, as far as college goes, get as much college as you can, but Always remember, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. I went to Bible college for 1 year, and then we dropped out because my wife was expecting my daughter. And that's all I've got is that year of Bible college at Export, Pennsylvania. I did pastor a church for 5 years, and that was helpful. And while at that church, we did have a nursing home service that we attended and went to, and that was helpful. And when I went into the interview, I kicked back and I talked to my interviewers like I'd known them forever. And they had a stack of papers. One man, the chaplain that I was taking his place, had a stack of papers this high, and he went through them asking me all these crazy questions. I answered them the best that I could, and like I said, divine intervention, because from what I found out, there was people with master's degrees. But hey, I'm not trying to discourage you. Get on your knees and pray and ask God to help you. But here is a story, a classic example of what somebody asked me and what I told them, and here's my advice for you. If you want to be a chaplain, you can start out as a hospice chaplain, because from what I understand, most hospice chaplains, and there's other chaplains as well, they don't require a degree. So what you do, well, here, let me tell the story. There's this dude, I visit a nursing home in Heber Springs, and there's this dude, Christian man, big guy. He's a huge guy, big guy. And he always smiled. He always come up and shook my hand and said, "Man, I appreciate what you do." But he asked me the question at one point in time. He's like, "Man," he said, "how do I do what you do?" And I've sort of went through with him what I've already went through with you. We're 5 minutes in. And then I told him, I said, "Here's what you do. There's an app on your phone or a website, and it's called Indeed, and you get on there, and you put in chaplain, you put in the area that you're in, and you fix you up a good resume and put all your ministry experience." And I don't know what his ministry experience was. I can't remember. And I said, "You just apply for every single job that you can." That was months ago. This guy, he is a CNA, a certified nurse's assistant at a nursing home, okay? And that's one of the people that has the toughest jobs, and they get paid the least. But I told him that, I gave him that story months ago. Told him to do that months and months ago. I mean, it may have even been a year ago that I've been seeing him. Well, guess what? Just this week, they said, "Jason put his 2 weeks notice in." I said, "What?" I said, "He put his 2 weeks notice in. What is he doing?" They said he got a job as a chaplain. They said he talked to his wife about it, and they talked about the pay, and he put in his 2 week notice, and he's going to be a chaplain. And I haven't talked to him, but as far as I know, he don't have any Bible school, any college degrees. And as far as I know, he did what I said for him to do. And it took a year of filling out applications, but now he's made it. He's not working for my hospice company. He's going to be working for another one. But it doesn't matter. You still get to minister. And I've told other people the same thing, and they put in an application here and there, and they got denied, and they said, "Well, I guess it's not God's will." Hey, if you really want to do it, it may take, look at this other video I just made. I just put it out yesterday. It may take 6 months. It may take 6 years. But if you want to do it, go ahead. All right. Now, one thing that I missed that is a qualification for most of them is you have to be an ordained minister. And that's sort of a give me on a lot of things. And I am ordained. I've got a fellowship that I'm a part of, that I have papers with to do weddings, and just a certification with them. All right, my cell phone kept shutting off because my cell phone was too hot. It kept saying it's too hot. I was trying to finish this video and it shut down. So listen, I can't remember what I was saying. I was telling you the dude got the job. He was persistent, putting in the applications. Now listen to this. a while back, like over a year ago, I was needing some help as a chaplain. So my boss told me I could hire somebody, and we put out some applications. I hired a guy, and he was like spending all day long at the hospital, UAMS in Little Rock. He lived in Conway. He had been a pastor of a big church for a long time. I don't know what degree he had. I think he did have like a bachelor's or a master's degree. I'm not sure, but he wanted to work for us part-time, and he was getting his clinical pastoral education stuff going on at UAMS, and he was doing that all day. And then he was doing helping me part-time, and he would go see patients after he got finished with that. And I think he was off on Fridays or something. I'm not sure. But that dude had all of that, and this other dude from and I don't know how much he was getting paid. The guy that I hired, they were paying him $25 an hour because it was PRN, and if you're PRN, that's like less than part time. You don't get any benefits, so they pay them more. It's more than 25 is more than what I make. But this other guy, I don't know what he makes. I started out at 18 an hour. That was 9 years ago. I obviously get paid more now, but I don't know what this guy's getting paid. But this other dude that don't have any of that stuff got basically the same position as this other dude that had all this UAMS clinical pastoral units and school and experience, all this stuff. And then the guy that I hired that I was telling you about that had all the stuff, he finished his program, getting his clinical pastoral units and going through whatever school they had, and he quit me after I'd trained him and showed him how to do all the stuff on the tablet. And then he went to work for another hospice full time, which I don't blame him. He finished his school. He wanted to go full time. We didn't have a full time position. So basically, the dude that went to work for me and then went to work for another hospice, he wouldn't have needed all that. I mean, it's great to have and definitely experience and probably knows more than me. But listen, here's the main qualification that you need. You need to be saved, full of the Holy Ghost, and you need to have a burden for souls and to love people and help people. That is the key. And I could go over a lot of things. I play the guitar. I'm known as the guitar playing chaplain. People love me. People that usually wouldn't want a chaplain, they let me come because I play I'll Fly Away, Amazing Grace, Victory in Jesus, Everlasting Arms, and the list goes on and on. And I'm a veteran, so, I'm able to do veteran appreciation ceremonies and present them with certificates. But the main thing, be a good Christian and have a burden for souls, and don't be lazy. If you got somebody to go see them. Because when you are a chaplain, there's a lot on you, and it's hard sometimes, and you got to go a lot of places. But it is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful position, and that's why I have done it for the past 10 years, and I've enjoyed it. I've had some tough times, and because I do work for a company and organization, I've had some hiccups there. But as far as being able to meet people, minister to people, it has fulfilled something in my heart, especially since the past 9 or 10 years I haven't pastored, and I've had a desire to pastor, but I have been pastoring. My people are just spread out, and my people just don't last long, and I get new people all the time. I hope this has helped you. If you got any questions, leave them in the comments, and I'd be glad to answer them. May the Lord bless you.